we met beautiful people who will inspire you with their wisdom from the heart, sparkling insights and pure awareness. Unique voices from all over the globe talking about heart's leadership. I'm really delighted to have you both here. It's the first couple I'm interviewing.
Oh,
that's special too. It gives a different energy also. That's great. So, and what we're doing, what we're going to talk about, I hope, and we're going to elaborate on today is about the power of the heart. Because as I told you, it's my personal mission and calling to get people into their heart and take leadership from there in the world, and for the better good, to get larger healing in the world. And I really would like to talk with you about what you're doing in your life, because you're heart leaders too, to some extent, with the music you're making now already for more than, together for 25 years. Am I right?
27 now, isn't it true?
Years. Yeah.
She knows exactly the date.
On the road for 25 years.
Have we?
For 25 years.
Wow.
Can we start maybe with sharing a little bit on, is there a specific theme on the concert tour you're doing this year? Is there a specific direction in your music?
It's actually always the same. I mean, of course, it takes different expressions and different songs and mantras. This year we have the focus on Temple at Midnight, which is Miten's new song album, which is, I always feel the songs express what the mantras make me feel. They express it in English. So we've been sharing more of those songs, and it's always the same space of silence and celebration and connection and giving opportunity for everybody to sing together and to chant together. That's always the focus.
It's always important. We like to invoke at the start of our concerts all our spiritual teachers with this particular mantra, and we like to also remind everybody that these gatherings are not concerts, they are gatherings of compassion and forgiveness and gratitude. And when we approach the mantras from that understanding, we can move into a space that gives a wider perspective to life. So we can move into a more peaceful place with ourselves, you know. We have a song called All Is Welcome Here. It's like bring your pain, bring the song you fear to sing. Bring it, because here in this moment everything is welcome. We are here to accept and to celebrate ourselves as we are, not as we're supposed to be. So in that way, when the mantras begin with that magic intention, you can feel a certain lift in energy and a sense of contemplation and celebration. We sing together, you know. Yeah. We're singing together, and we're not singing, I love you, baby, or I hate you, you just left me. And we are singing these very potent healing sounds that were discovered scientifically thousands and thousands of years ago in India, and they still carry power. They don't diminish over the years.
For the people who might not know what a mantra is, can you explain what a mantra is? Because I think you're touching on it now.
Well, that's basically it. It's something that the wise men of India, we can call them scientists, were exploring how sound affects our bodies. And we all know sound affects our bodies. A police siren is a very different emotion to a baby laughing. So we know how we are affected subliminally by sound. So these people back then, with their technology, was the body. That's what they had. So their exploration was, how does this sound affect us? And then they started to refine these sounds to the point where they knew exactly how many times it was needed to begin to resonate with our bodies. Not just our bodies, our metaphysical bodies too.
And that's why we repeat the mantras.
That's why we repeated 108 cycles. And that's what they discovered. So we look at them as if they're words, but they're not words, they're sounds. They're certain sounds that resonate. And that's basically your first mantra was Om, and since then all these different collections of sounds, we call them refined sound bites. There's a mantra for inner peace, there's a mantra for removing obstacles in your pathway as you go through life. There's even a mantra for sacred lovemaking, when before the partners, before you make love, you chant this mantra. All kinds of very potent energies there hidden within. So it's much deeper than just emotional content, which is basically what our songs are. The songs that we sing in the West, they're all emotional. I love you, I don't love you, you hurt me, all that stuff. If you go down deeper, then you come to a much more profound connection within yourself,
Now there's lots of people out there in society and business and anywhere who really, have this longing for opening their heart and touching it.
Yeah.
What could be your view on that, or your vision on it, from a music perspective maybe, or maybe a wider perspective? How they could be helped to really open it and to get to the depth of the experience?
Take a risk.
Take a risk, yeah. Is it a risk?
Yeah, you open your heart, it's risky, because you open your heart, in a way you're more vulnerable. You open your heart.
And then what?
And then
you feel things. You feel more things.
You feel more things.
I mean, it's all about connection. When our heart is open when we are in love, and we are in love when we feel connected, and also we feel we are comfortable to be open when we feel connected and in love. And through what we do, our way to that connection, our way to tap into that love is through community that comes together to sing and chant and sit in silence and celebrate life as it is right this moment. There's no questions and answers, there are no concepts, or there are no teachings, or there's no goal. It's just happening right in this moment. We just very simply we come together and we're gonna sing. There's you're not gonna get a certificate in the end that you're a great singer, or you can't teach it in the end, or you can't say, oh yeah, I sang 15 mantras today, I'm so amazing. It's really just an in the moment affair. And that's the point, that it's in the moment, and that it's just that it's the goal in itself is the act of singing. It's like Miten has a song, there's no goal but this, it's happening right now.
So it's silent, it's music, but it's also you. Like, what do you do? Because you're leading, in a way, the audience to open up, to sing, to be silent, to... What could be...
Well, we took a risk. We took a risk. We were in India, we were in an ashram, we were learning to meditate. She was a young girl, like as a teenager, on her own in an ashram in India back in the 80s. And my risk was that I left my musical background, my rock background, and all the sex and drugs and all the stuff that went with it. And I walked out, and it's a hard concept for people in the mainstream to actually grasp, that it's not about achieving something. That's what Deva was saying. We always have this thing, what do I get out of singing mantras? What do I get out of meditation? What am I going to get? And it's all about what can you give to it. And that's the difference, Like if you open, it's dangerous to open your heart when you're in a box, because where do you go? And if you're in a box and you're working and you've got this whole concept of life, see, when you open your heart, it's like looking out of a house, looking out of a window in your house and going, wow, what's out there? This is, and then you go out and you realize, wow, it's raining, oh, it's sunny, but you're in something new. And then, with the guru, then the guru says, you like it out here in the garden? Why don't you come a little further? Come out into the forest. Oh, and then suddenly you're out into the wild of life. And you don't get no guarantees out here. You don't know what's going to come next. But that's the adventure. You can play it safe, and you can be a corporate person and play it safe and wheel and deal. That's okay, if that's life. I'm not a problem with it, but it should come with a warning. Open your heart. Life's going to happen to you. Are you ready for it? And so that's basically the thing with us. We don't have enough time to kind of bullshit. It's got to be real. It's got to be truthful, and that's what the mantras and that's what our work is.
Is that also your calling, to bring with your music this truth of showing?
It's never our intention.
Yeah, there's no, because I just,
Deva's a bit lost for words this morning.
Yeah, no, I just like that I don't have any. I feel really comfortable that I don't have any agenda for anybody. It's really an invitation, and it's something that we love doing, and we love sharing, and we love that people want to share it with us, and that's basically all we can do, and that's all we take responsibility for. And I don't have any. I just know, I do know, and I've seen it over the years, that when people are exposed to it and when they get into it, usually they benefit from it, and they share with us how it's transformed them, healed them, calmed them, brought them solace, peace, and acceptance of their life situation or whatever they're going through. So that I know, but it's not, we're just creating the opportunity for that to happen.
I think we'd be singing mantras whether people come or not. It's just our practice, So that it's yes. And what's
the life from your own heart, and it's almost suddenly started to attract other people who recognize.
Autistic,
it's like an open invitation.
Autistic kids and.
Yeah, we were just in New York in a Center for Discovery. It's a facility for autistic children and also adults, and we played a concert there for the residents and also the staff, and it was just so touching and beautiful and uplifting to see how they responded to it. How though they had no background of what mantras are, most probably we explained it a little bit, but most probably they heard something like that for the first time, and they had no preconceived beliefs of how they should work or anything, but it just brought so much peace, and the staff said they had never seen them so calm and so restful for this hour that we played, and it was just beautiful. That really also. And the same in prisons. We've played in prisons, and that in such environments, such intense environments, they also work. They bring peace. Even in a prison, we come to a sense of oneness and actually even very deep heart space of connection,
We usually get those messages that people use the mantras for us, the 3 key points in life. They use the mantras, people have told us, when they're giving birth to their kids. They use the mantras when in their bedroom, when they're making love, and they use the mantras in the process of leaving the body, of dying. Many times people said, I've played this for my parents as they were leaving the body, or my friend. So for those 3 key points in life, to know that the music that we've created is utilized and actually used. It's not entertainment. It's not there to make you feel good for 5 minutes. So, you know.
So there is a deep, profound sound.
Yeah.
Touches your inner.
It does,
journey.
yeah. And it's mystery, like anything, anything spiritual is basically mysterious. We don't really know. We don't, it's the only way you can kind of quantify a spiritual life is by living it. You can't look at it and go, that's something, I kind of like to dabble in or look at and come back to my life. But if you really commit and apply yourself to a practice, a spiritual practice, then whatever looks weird and crazy to the mainstream begins to make sense inside, because the mainstream is basically based on cynicism. It's a cynical dog-eat-dog world. That's what it is. That's what it is. Money, power, finance.
Is that also what you mean?
Without that, you step out of that. You look weird to those people, but who cares?
Yeah.
Who cares?
It's your own perspective, and that's fine.
Yeah.
What you also see at the moment, I think, specifically in companies where I've been working, is that people are not really daring to speak their inner voice. There's so much protection for people and really not being able to speak up where they're really coming from. Just touched by one of your sayings that how important it is to speak your inner voice. Is there some kind of help you can provide to them? Like, how could you make that first step to really show or let the world hear your inner voice, because you are doing it?
I mean, it does need to come out of a sense of groundedness in your inner world. If you are comfortable in your inner world and connected with the silence that you find inside, or with the noise that you find inside often, from there you can draw the strength to walk your talk and to kind of dare to speak your truth. But first you have to be connected, and that connection comes through meditation.
Taking a risk again. It's against
yeah,
risk.
but I mean, the risk you need first to have a strength for that risk, and a resource. Where do you go when you are, when you are taking the risk and you face not everybody's going to say, "Oh, great, you spoke your truth, fantastic." You have to find a place where you find your strength and you can recharge. And meditation can take so many forms. Like for us, it is singing and chanting is a very quick way to find that silence. And for others, it might be yoga or dancing or running, even, or anything that lifts your spirit and puts you into the moment. Painting, whatever it could be, cleaning, whatever,
But it's about the inner journey.
It's
to go inside.
To
find that place.
To be comfortable within.
Yeah.
I think for me, I needed to find an inspirational channel. I needed to find somebody or something that would inspire me. And back then, I'm talking about in the 70s, compared to now, it was a very barren landscape. You had to go to India to find a guru. You couldn't Google, Now you can, the world is full of opportunities, and it's full of possibilities. So there's no excuse. If you're not speaking your mind, then it's your responsibility, nobody else. And it may come from adopting concepts from your parents or from school and whatever as you grow up. But there comes a time when everybody has to face themselves and take responsibility for their discomfort or whatever it is that you mention. So, the thing with the spiritual path, nobody can give it to you. This concept of guru and followers, it's not like that. It's absolutely your own responsibility, and that's what the gurus give you. You want enlightenment, you want to be spiritual, you want to open your heart, okay, take a step. Take a step. Don't say you want to and never do anything. And to make that step is huge because, well, I'm talking again about myself, but back in the 70s, you looked very weird to be walking about in an orange robe in London in the 70s. But now, you know, it's everywhere. You can, for young people, there's thousands of ways to explore. There are many different pathways. People like Eckhart Tolle, even Tony Robbins, all these people, they have a connection to spirituality and they can help.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you have to step towards them. It's the same with the mantras. They're there, but they're not coming to you. You have to come to them. And who knows when life brings you, like in your journey. You know, there comes a time when, and that's how it is. There's nobody can push you. There's nobody can seduce you. It's always our own individual responsibility. And there comes a time when you answer that call or you don't. We're there to just say hi. It's over here if you like it. And what we're seeing is many corporate people are coming to chant mantras. That you know, it's definitely a very mixed audience we have, and we have thousands of people every concert, and they're not all old hippies, you know,
not at all.
or young hippies.
But I think it's also what your music makes it different. It's easy to, at least for our Western ears, to step into it, to understand it. It has a softness and a tone that, at least for me, touches my heart, and I know for a lot of people have the same experience. And it's also the mix, I think, of what you're both bringing.
It's true, but Deva is an amazing channel for the mantras because she doesn't emote. She's not an emotional singer. Usually we look at a singer and how much can you feel the song. Deva she's a way deeper level. You can't be emotional and chant mantras because it becomes ego. And with Deva chanting, it's absolutely pure. She was born with the mantras, you know.
Yeah, it's
Hello.
wonderful. Yeah.
I'm talking about you.
You were born with the mantras. So wonderful. Yeah.
She was born with her parents chanting the mantra.
Yeah,
You know?
I've heard a wonderful story. We would love to hear it. Like you, I know you have such a deep connection to the Gayatri mantra. It's beautiful, and I would definitely also tell everybody to have a look at it and listen to it and feel it. What does it mean for you today, this wonderful mantra? Does it evolve in its experience, or is it still the same?
It just feels like familiar, like I've lived in it all my life, you know? It feels like it's kind of running in my blood, you know? And so it's almost like not separate, you know? It's a warm light. A warm light that shines on me somehow. It's a real friend, and also it feels like a very big presence that I can't really grasp yet. You know, like I can't really see the edges of this presence yet. It's so big, you know.
Yeah, it's eternal. Yeah, it's wonderful. Well, you're touching, I think, so many people with bringing that to earth, to us, to all of us. And we were talking also about healing, like healing the earth, and that there's more people into spirituality or finding themselves or the higher selves or whatever words we are giving to it. What's your view on it? How do you see that evolve in the world?
There's definitely evolution happening.
Yeah.
Because, you know, like I say, you know, in the 70s when we were, well, in the 80s when we began chanting the mantras, in the late, whenever it was, can't remember, but, you know, it was really, you could kind of pick the people out on the street who you would think would be at that mantra gathering or the yoga gathering. But now, with thousands, you know, so that it definitely evolved. When we play in Russia, there's like 5,000 or 6,000 people in Moscow, you know, and that's just chanting. And Deva mentioned earlier silence, and it was she said it very, very as part of one of the things, but it's so important in our concerts. And it's not a silence of the graveyard, it's a very potent silence. You've been chanting for 2 or 3 hours, you've been in an altered perception of life, and you've forgotten about all your stress and whatever you've been carrying, and by the end of the concert, there's such a profound sense of collective peace, and we've, as a species, in a way, have evolved to a point where we can sit silently in gratitude with many, many people. Is very unique. It doesn't happen in usual rock concerts or theater shows. It's something more profound. It's a space where we can actually breathe out and go, thank you for life, Just a little silent prayer that you give to yourself, thank you, my God. Thank you for this, And that emotion and that sense of gratitude sustains us when we leave the theater, when we go back home, when we go to work the next morning. There's a feeling of support.
Yeah.
There's support.
That's probably also how you are able to do all this, because you're traveling all around the world for many, many months. You can only imagine what it could do to your energy, but still you're doing it in a very vivid and energetic
we do what we
way.
love, so we are energized by that, and recharge of the evenings, and then the support of the people who travel with us, and our crew. They're incredible, loving, amazing, beautiful people who take care of us. And
but it does take its toll.
Yeah.
It does take its toll. I'm only 25.
So that's great.
So you get you.
Yeah, I can imagine. Still have to do it. Yeah.
No, but it's an amazing life. You can't believe it. Can you imagine? We travel around the world. We've been doing it every year for I don't know how many years, 20 years, but and to wherever we play, we even played in Siberia. They sent us to Siberia, we had 5 concerts in Russia, and we said yes, we would like to play in some other cities. Okay, do you want to go over there? Yeah, let's go. We get to Siberia, into this city, I don't know what it's called.
Novosibirsk.
Really north.
And we begin playing the mantras, and as soon as we play in the Gayatri, everybody knows
Everybody's
it.
in. Wonderful.
Everybody begins singing it, even over there, And whether it's Argentina or there or wherever, it's obvious that something is happening around this wave that somehow we found ourselves surfing.
Fantastic. Now, what I'm really curious about, because life is also about relationship, not having always a couple in the interviews. What's your secret? How do you do it together, working every day together? What's the secret to your union?
We don't know yet. We haven't really found that out yet. We're just enjoying it.
Oh, that's probably the secret. The joy.
I don't think we could. There's no formula. There's nothing we did. Or it's just wow. It's today. We're still in love with each other, and we still want to spend every moment more or less together.
Yeah.
Which is pretty much what we do. Almost always in the same room or in the vicinity.
Yeah.
Or the same airport.
I think if I would tell that to other people who might not know you, they would say, "How do you do that? You're enjoying it.
Happening.
It's happening,
and it feels good, and we just enjoy it as long as it feels good. And it's like a guest that is still there when you wake up in the morning. This love, And we don't know how long it's gonna last, or how long the guest will stay. So we are
very conscious of it in a way that it is a gift. It's grace.
Conscious of the impermanence of life on all levels, on things changing, on death happening. I'm very aware of death pretty much every day.
Yeah.
In a nice way. It makes me feel really, really good. Yeah. And so I know this is really to be enjoyed in a moment, because that's it.
And you're really living with death, and I recognize that to a certain extent. Like, how does that fill your life? How is it for you?
It just gives me another perspective. It's I'm really into books, life after death, life in between lives, all these things. And of course, I don't have a memory of it. I don't have an experience of it. I haven't had a near-death experience. So one could say it's all, I believe it, what I read, but it's a good belief. It makes me feel connected. It makes me feel trusting and in oneness with others. I can see. It helps me to see beyond the seeming separation between us. So it's a good belief. I don't know. It just rings true, and it just feels like, wow, we really. It puts everything into perspective. So. And
if you're talking seeming separation, you're talking like in life and afterlife, or
just
afterlife, whatever you want to call it.
We are so we are so hung up with the packaging of in life, with the outside, with the body, with the book, with the
books that we
book. Don't judge a book by its cover. We're so hung up on on what we see, and death always reminds me, wow, it's really so fleeting. There is this particular edition of Miten is not going to look like that after death, or maybe next life. So don't get hung up on this. Don't get identified with what you see, or people I see for the first time. What do I think, or how do I react? Just to come back always to the essence. At least try. And within myself, and
in that essence you find the oneness.
Yes.
Among people, among us. Yeah.
I think one thing I want to say about relationships, I know it is very, like Deva says, we're just lucky, but speaking as a man in this relationship, I think I can say that one of the priorities is the respect for each other's spiritual journey. And I have a great respect for Deva's spiritual journey, which has nothing to do with marriage. It has nothing to do with putting a circle around the two of us. And I celebrate Deva's growth and Deva's shining. And I support that as a man. And that's something that I didn't really know how to do before I met Deva. When we met, she was young. She was 20. I was 42. So I had the opportunity to be with a younger person and support their journey. And for the first time, again, speaking as a man, it was a great thing, because my male energy was there. It wasn't there to lead. It was actually there to support. And so it's a different way of being with a woman, being with my partner.
And still feeling really masculine.
Yeah, it's a male thing. It's a masculine thing.
Yeah,
it's a support, and that's what I learned as in this journey with Deva. And for me, that has because, for instance, she wasn't singing when we met. I helped her through that whole thing of supporting her, because I was a musician, so I could actually see what she was going through, and to help her in that, and to watch her receive the projections and the love of so many people, and watch her ego is in there now, because of the content and the material. It's never been an egotistical connection with what we do. It's always been very much based on humility. We are not great musicians, we're not great teachers, we're not interested in teaching anybody anything. We're not interested in being stars or anything like this. But whatever is coming to us, it comes to us very clean. We were having breakfast this morning in the hotel, and some beautiful guy comes up and goes, thank you so much for your music. I'll see you in the concert tonight. And you know, they're the kind of people we are surrounded by. It's really good people who are attracted to this music and this way of life, you know. So that supports us as a couple.
And could that, because our society is really driven, also business society, but mainly driven by men, it's still still the case, and I've experienced it as a woman being in that environment. And what touches me deeply is that you say, you know, you can be very much in your masculine energy and still be at service of a woman who is in that, is able to really grow and blossom in the way you've been able within your combination. But it's also something I wish and I hope for, that it could be in the world as a healing part, that men and women can work and live like that in relationship or in working relationship or whatever, in just living together as neighbors.
That's a good prayer.
And that would be wonderful, isn't it? It's just touching me because you're saying it as a man, and it's still difficult, I think. You see, the good thing is that more men are really standing up at the moment to support women in whatever direction they're going.
Especially now with all this abuse thing going on with the movie star in Hollywood or whoever that guy is, and Trump, all this groping of women, and it's like so weird, and and if you, I don't know.
But
anyway,
it's about but it seems like when a man is of service to a woman, it seems like it's not masculine. But I really sense in this conversation that it is very masculine to support a talent, a wonderful person like you.
And it also it's mutual, you know.
How would that?
It's just, it doesn't even really. Doesn't matter if it's 2 women, 2 men, 1 woman, 1 man. You know, it's just a mutual honoring and support of your best friend, you know, of your beloved. And well, you know, I feel the same way about Miten. You know, I just, you know, I would do anything for him to be happy and follow his dream, and you know, that he can not for me to follow his dream, but for him to be able to follow his
follow
dream.
my dream. I don't know if you want to do that.
Is that maybe part of the secret, that the balance between the feminine and the masculine energy, or the willingness to respect each other's spiritual path, is so open and so wished for by both of you, that you're able to work so closely together every day?
Yeah, I mean, it's just a question, what was there first, you know? It's like, it's not that it was different and then we started doing that and then, you know.
It was there, it was there.
It's just this particular connection brings out this particular way of being to each other.
But I do think there are some factors though. I mean, like when we sing together, when you sing together, even if you're singing, you know, like pop songs or something, but when you know, I think I can say for both of us, but when we sing together, it's tantric. It's our tantric moment together. You know, we are feeling each other's energy. We're moving in a non-verbal dimension with each other, and it's very connected. And whether it's in the bedroom or on the stage, it's an energetic nourishment and an affirmation. So you know, you can't. It's not that we got together and said, let's make an affirmation, let's sing. It all happened, and I think again I have to say that because we met in an ashram, we met already in a very different environment than a club or you know, wherever else you might meet someone. This is very different. The whole idea of being in an ashram was to learn and to be connected to your inner reality and to make friends with your inner reality, so that when you close your eyes and you're alone, you don't feel uncomfortable. You feel like, oh, as a friend, I can close my eyes and be comfortable. And all those teachings that were given to us back then proved to be actually real. You know, they weren't some teachings based on ambition or success, or it was nothing to do with that. It was the opposite, actually. It was like, just stand still, stop. One of the things our teacher used to say was that, you know, my whole effort here is to get you to slow down, you know, until you stop. And when you stop, there, you have arrived. And so instead of going faster and faster and faster and trying to reach success, it's the opposite. You go farther and further away from yourself, you know, and that's the pain. That's the pain, you know, and that's what I mean with the mantras, that you come back for those few hours, and you don't consciously say, I'm going to go back, but you find yourself at peace with yourself. And when you're in our situation, when you're providing this space, it's a great affirmation for us. It's a great support. So, you know, there's many different levels to our relationship and our connection. It is very much like it just happened, and it did. But if you look underneath that, there are many factors that nourish it and keep it fresh and keep it real. It's very fresh. We after 27 years, she's still the most beautiful thing in the world to me, and I know I'm pretty much the most handsome guy she's ever seen. Am I right? Am I right?
Isn't it great? Yeah, wonderful. Yeah, it's beautiful. You're so, well, there's grace. It's beautiful. We're going to finish up this interview in a few minutes. What would be the last thing you would like to share with the people who are watching this? What would be like the message from your heart you want to share with us?
Take a risk.
Take a risk.
That's the thing today.
Take a risk. And what would be your wish or longing or whatever you would like to share with the world?
Yeah, it's actually find your connection, you know. What do you feel connected to? Where do you feel that connection the strongest? And that connection is to a community, to people, to animals, to yourself, to nature. You know, the connection can take so many shapes and forms, and then that's where we can find our nourishment. You know, so. And what makes the connection strongest for you? Like through singing, through dancing, through sitting silently, through walking in nature, through painting, through, you know, sharing deeply with a circle of friends. You know, like it's that really helps us, you know, enjoy this life and cope with the challenges, or actually benefit from the challenges in his life.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your words. Thank you for your presence, specifically. Namaste. Really, it's really beautiful. Thank you very much. And I wish you all the best in life, afterlife, whenever.
That's true.
and grace and everything that will come your way, that it will be blossoming one way or the other. Thank you very much. And have a wonderful tour. I'm going to enjoy it tomorrow night. We'll sing out loud.